How you doing, folks? I want to get into part two and on arrow setup, and you know, have a good arrow setup. You got to be properly spined. So I like the bear shaft method to find my spine. If I'm slightly stiff, I can always add a tip weight to loosen it to weaken the spine, and it takes about 40-50 grains to change the arrow spine on an arrow. But I got start with some of the other components. And I'm gonna do it kind of like for how I set mine up for hunting and for kind of all around competition. Because I use the same arrow for hunting as I do for competition. So got the inserts. This is a brass break off or a Beeman center shot, and the arrow is a 500 spine, which I'm spined correctly. Excuse me. And this is the aluminum insert that you get standard. It's 19 grain standard. The Beeman ICS bow hunter is 21 grains on the aluminum standard insert in grains. So it's 21 grains total weight for that particular arrow. Knowing your insert weight is going to help you. Most standard insert weight is about 12 to 14 grains, unless you add, little, weight systems like Gold Tip has. Beeman Easton has the same thing. I just started adding tip weight and insert weight this year, so it's kind of worked out for me, and I've shot it a little while, and it works really great to get to where I'm trying to achieve and not have a big broadhead up front, and I'm staying basically with a 150 grain Magnus Stinger 2 blades. So that's the broadhead I'm trying to stay with. I got some 125 4 blades. It's just the main blade with 2 bleeder blades. So 25 grains is not going to make or break me right there. So I'll be right in where I need to be, but I'm trying to use the 145s, or not 150 grain Magnus, excuse me. And this arrow here is the arrow I'm actually hunting with, and I shot competition with. So it's got a 50 grain brass insert and a 145 grain field tip. And how I come up with having a 50 grain insert is when I originally tuned and set up the arrow, I usually set up how it flies really good, and I end up with a 175. These full length are cut to 31 inches carbon to carbon. That's not even counting your insert. It might be counting my insert, or not my insert, but my knock. It's 31 inches, so it might be 31 and a quarter. With some places it might be a little longer, but I always check the length, and I got 31 inches. So with that, what I took was my tip weight. After I tuned, I took my tip weight and my insert weight. So I had a 175 with a 21 grain insert, standard aluminum insert, which I come up with 196. So I just added a 50 grain insert and got as close to that number as I could. If I'm a little over by 10 grains, I'm not too much worried about. I think I'm only over by 6 grains or 4 grains. So it's not going to affect anything. So it takes about 40 to 50 grains to change your arrow spine. So and I do play around. Once I get an arrow set up, I will play around with different tip weights, what I can get by with and whatnot. But mostly I'm going to use a 150 to a 125, and that's what my small game heads are. And I got to reflex this arrow, and with what I got, find it right here. Now with this one, I got, with the Beeman center shot, I set it up. I used a 75 grain break off in it, and a 145 grain tip, which got me about 225 grains up front. I've tested it with broadheads on my bows, and broadheads fly good. I mean, I even put a 125 grain tip on it by accident. It flew really well, so it's hitting wherever I'm going, wherever I'm looking. So, and it drops a little bit harder, but it's not too terrible. I can still use it for 3D, and definitely use it for hunt, because this will give me, with a 145 grain tip, it'll be a total arrow weight of about 495. And when you're trying to set up, you know, if you're trying to get real heavy, just note that you may have to change your knot point, bring it down so you can kind of get what your distance is, what you're trying to achieve with it. Whether it's, you know, you're trying to use one arrow for everything, or you're just using one arrow for hunting, and that's it. So you just got to get all that other extra questions figured out, and you can set it up accordingly. But if you know your insert weight and tip weight, that will help you. Which an arrow cut 31 inches for me at a 27-inch draw length with a 45-pound bow is going to be a little stiff, so that's why I added the extra weight up front. It flies good with a regular insert, but luckily it had a 21 grain insert. So just make sure you know, if you're trying to get a heavier FOC, you may have to go up to the next spine range from where you're at to be able to get, you know, the FOC percentage that you want. So to me, as long as I can get my arrows to fly, and they fly straight, and they fly where I look, that's all I'm pretty much worried about. And it also, the advantages to a heavier arrow, it will quiet your bow down. It will take some of the vibration and noise, even with, you know, a mistake or a bad release. It'll still be fairly quiet, but you'll be able to hear a difference still. So that's how I set my arrows up. And knowing the insert weight, I mean, I don't know the total weight grains and glue, but that does add weight to everything. Even when you're fletching your arrows, that glue does weigh a little bit in grains, so it does add extra weight to your bow or to your arrows. So take all that consideration when you start adding, you know, your glues or whatnot. I've been trying to use fletching tape, so that don't take a whole lot, but if you add arrow wrap to the end, it will stiffen your arrow up. Anything you add to the rear end, it'll stiffen it when you're trying to set it up. So if you're trying to set it up, have all that stuff on there before you tune, so you can get an accurate tune and an accurate setup. So that's the name of the game, is everything to be accurate and not wasting a lot of energy. So that's the whole basis of a hunting arrow setup. You just got to ask yourself, are you wanting to use it for both for 3D and hunting, or you're just going to use it just for hunting, and you'll have a whole nother arrow set up for 3D. So once you get all that figured out and what you're looking for, whether you want an FOC, you know, or EFOC, which is a extreme at front of center, and just right now my arrows are sitting about 20-22% FOC, which is perfect. You know, for deer, for whitetail, is plenty enough. So once you answer all those questions, you can set it up according to that way. So I hope this helps, and I hope y'all have a great day, and God bless.